Have you ever heard of the 12 tables? The chances are you only know of them if you have studied law. Have you ever heard of 12 tables? The chances are Oh, the laws of the 12 tables was the legislation that stood at the foundation of Roman law. Formally promulgated in 449 BC, the tables consolidated earlier traditions into an enduring set of laws, and Roman law is the legal system of ancient Rome, including the legal developments spanning over 1,000 years of jurisprudence. From the 12 tables, again, 449 BC, to the Corpus Juris Civilis, AD 529, ordered by Eastern Roman Emperor Justinian I. Why am I bringing Roman law into the picture of modern-day Russia? What do the two have in common? Well, Roman law forms the basic framework of civil law, the most widely used legal system of today, and its terms are sometimes used synonymously. Roman laws has, Roman law has four basic principles. They are: people of the same status are equal before the law. An accused person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. The accused should be allowed to face his or her accuser and defend against the charge. And guilt must be established clearer than daylight through evidence. Again, Roman law has set framework for civil law of today. Once person is found guilty, punishment must be carried out according to criminal code that sets different kinds of punishments. All crimes are created differently, therefore punishments are also different. Makes sense, right? Well, it does make sense for any country, but not Russia circa June 2023. You see, in Russia, all people stand equal before the law, but some people stand more equal before the law than the others. Starting now, some people in Russia have a license to crime. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you important news updates that explain what's truly happening in Russia today. What you will not find here is BS, lies, and propaganda. What you will find is truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions, because I'm a human being after all. Inside Russia is where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. For the first 30 or so minutes, I give you my daily message, the topic I find important, and then I invite everyone to carry on to live stream chat, where we converse and I answer questions. I love that very much. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming and watching today. This is a day of yet another crazy news from Russia. You know, it just gets crazier and crazier by the day, I kid you not. Without further ado, let's jump into this. I don't even know how to call it. Putin is about to sign a new law. Woohoo! Everything is ready. You know, there's a process of creating a law in Russia, and the president signing it, the very last step. So Putin is ready to sign the new law. All the previous steps have been taken. Just listen to what kind of a law. You're going to like it. Or perhaps you're not going to like it. And yes, it does concern all Russians, all Russian citizens. The senators of Russian parliament, lower chamber, adopted the proposed law, and the senators of the upper chamber approved the proposed law that exempts participants of the war against Ukraine from criminal liability. Let me repeat it one more time. The new law exempts participants of the war against Ukraine from criminal liability. The new law will allow 3 categories of combatants to be exempt from criminal liability. First, active military personnel of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, including those combatants who were mobilized under September 21st mobilization order, in respect of whom a preliminary criminal investigation is in the process of being carried out. Number 2, civilians or law enforcement officers in respect to whom criminal investigation is in the process of being carried out. In other words, a criminal investigation is opened and charges are pressed. Those people are exempt under this new law. And the third, convicted felons who committed their crimes before the law was signed into existence by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, folks, there's lots of legal terms and words, in plain words, in simple language. All convicted criminals, including those currently under criminal investigations, will be pardoned and exempt from being charged with breaking the law. Nice. In addition, Russian parliament adopted a satellite law allowing the military to sign contracts with prisoners, convicted felons serving time, as well as people accused or suspected of committing a crime. Double nice. According to this new law, an active military serviceman participating in the so-called special military operation, that's very weird, twisty, and Russian way of calling the war with Ukraine, special military operation, so any serviceman participating in the war can be forgiven absolutely of any crime committed until the authorities cancel the mobilization and martial law. Any crime? Any crime! Konstantin, are you sure? Did you double check? Did you do fact checking? Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I am right. I'm not wrong whatsoever. Unlike the other 2 categories of people, the authorities have not set any restrictions for the active duty military servicemen. Any can commit any crimes of any severity before and after the law is signed. Triple nice. Sweet. Well, not really sweet, you know. Actually, I wonder, what if, let's take a soldier, a serviceman. What if a soldier deserts, becomes a deserter? Under this new law, he cannot be charged with any crime. What if he rapes a fellow soldier? Exempt? What if he kills a fellow soldier? What if he kills a fellow senior officer? Hey, cannot be charged. He's a part of a war with Ukraine. He's on active duty. He can't be charged. He cannot be investigated. Nice. What happens then, by the way? What happens to them? They're untouchable, aren't they, under this new law? For comparison, existing felons and civilians, both accused and that are suspects of a crime, can only be forgiven for crimes committed before the date of entry into the military service under this federal law. But the military personnel can be exempted from criminal liability for what they will do even after Vladimir Putin signs the law and it comes to force. I don't know. If it sounds complicated, basically there are three categories of people: the civilians, the felons, and the current servicemen. So the civilians and felons, they can only be pardoned for the crimes they have committed before the law becomes the law. And the active duty servicemen, even after the law becomes the law, and then, are exempt in the future. I mean, think of the opportunities that are open to those people. Think what they can do. Oh my gosh. It's basically a license to crime. Any crime. Anything. Formally, this law applies during the period of mobilization, during martial law, during wartime. But in theory, it is possible to imagine a situation where the war has already ended and demobilization has not yet been carried out. That is, until the Russian President Vladimir Putin signs this new decree that cancels his order on mobilization and and he cancels all martial laws that are in effect in some of the provinces. The military personnel can be sure that they can be forgiven for any crime committed in the future. Quadruple nice. Well, not that nice for Russian people, Any person, if he's suspected of, any person, if he is suspected of a crime, can go to war and receive forgiveness at the end of the service. And, no, not really. The army will only take civilians suspected and accused of crimes of small or medium gravity. And what is that different gravity? Well, that is in intentional crimes for which the maximum penalty does not exceed 5 years in prison, and in reckless acts for which the criminal code provides penalty of no more than 10 years of imprisonment. No more than 10 years. What kind of reckless act should be committed? Must be committed to get to land person to prison for 10 years, okay? Must be something really crazy. 10 years. That's lovely. What are the rules for convicts to join Russian armed forces and be pardoned, whatever they are serving for? Convicts will be taken to war regardless of the severity of the crimes committed. 5 times lovely. But there's a list of exceptions of the specific criminal code articles. Those who have committed crimes against the sexual integrity of minors, that is, pedophiles, as well as those related to terrorism, extremism, espionage, and treason, should not be allowed to join the armed forces under any circumstances. But, listen to this. Murderers, thieves, cannibals are very welcome to the armed forces of Russia. And if you're a rapist or a child molester, hey, no worries. Chevaka Wagner will greet you and welcome you with open arms. Folks, what does it say for Russia? I want you to do something for me. Please write in the comments, what do you think, what's going to happen to Russia? And if you personally, wanted a law like this to exist in your country, no matter where you live. And now I'll give you my opinion on what is happening and why this is happening. And I can actually break down my opinion into 2 logical parts. First is the rational opinion, and second is my emotional response. I will start with a rational opinion, the explanation why I think this law is being born. Let's leave the emotions away from the picture from now, although it's really difficult to do, Why does Putin do that? Why does he grant license to crime to hardcore criminals? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that you're creating a huge problem for the society in near future. Even person like Putin, not the brightest fellow in the bunch, but even him should understand that. And I think he does. All governments struggle all over the world, struggle to lower crime rate in their societies. And Putin right now is increasing the crime rate on purpose. He's destroying the fairness of the legal system, okay? There are checks and balances. A person knows that if he or she breaks the rule, they'll be caught and imprisoned, and the justice will be served. Basically, what Putin is sending a signal to Russian society by this law is there's no justice. Hey, loyalty is above justice. You come and join the Russian armed forces, take up arms, go to Ukraine, follow our orders, kill as many Ukrainians as you can, and you will be pardoned of all the sins, of all the crimes that you have committed in Russia. No matter, you murdered your mother, you murdered your neighbor, you murdered 5 people, 10 people, children. That's okay. Pardoned. You stole millions, trillions, okay, pardoned, Imagine what happens to when those people come back and they're pardoned. Well, some of them, at least some of them will. They will keep on doing what they know how to do best, to keep on committing crimes. They will be bolder, especially the servicemen, since they will be able to commit any crime and get away with it. They have a license to kill, so to speak. That's going to be bad. But what's even worse, he's just destroying the foundations of the society, of the legal system, the fairness of the legal system. As far as I know, license to kill was in possession of only one person before, James Bond, but he wasn't convicted felon, Well, sorry, it was a joke. Why? Why is he doing it? Is he crazy? To create this environment that's full of fear, full of crime, full of murder, theft. Why? I think there's one clear explanation. Of course, he could be doing all of that. I'm not saying he's not, but there's one explanation that is above all I just said. This law is Putin's weapon of last resort. The last carrot available. They have exhausted all other options. They need more people. They lose people at probably crazy rate. That's what I've been hearing from all over. They don't say how many people have died. The last time someone told us was Shoigu, and he gave us crazy number, 5,900 people, September 21st. Clearly, that was a lie, okay? But they keep on silence. They need more people. They used money. Well, first of all, they're running out of money. And second, money does not work anymore. How else can you attract people to go fight in Ukraine? How else can you attract people to kill other people? By forgiving them their crimes and giving them a license to kill. And the harder, the harsher, the more, the worse the crime they committed, they will join the armed forces with bigger desire, okay? It means one thing. Soon, they will run out of felons, because ЧВК Wagner did actually a pretty darn good job of cleaning out Russian prisons of felons in the 2022. until February. And in February, Ministry of Defense forbade prisons to let ČVK Wagner in, but by that time, the prisons had been cleaned pretty well, okay? And not my estimation, not too many felons left in prisons to join. And they will run out of felons very, very soon. They will run out of people who are under criminal investigations very soon. And what's next? They will need more people. And then it's all-out war, all-out mobilization, and blanket mobilization. Most likely closing borders. Partially they will already closed, but the regulations will be much tighter in the future. My estimation towards the end of the summer, that's going to happen. This is my take on why this law has been created. And actually, this law shows us the depth of despair that Russian government has fallen into, Putin has fallen into. This is the weapon of last resort they're using. And number two, I promised my emotional response. Folks, I don't even know what to tell you. I am very ashamed. I don't live in Russia anymore, but I'm Russian. No matter what I do, I mean, I cannot change my heritage. I cannot change my culture. I cannot change where I was born. And I cannot just, isolate myself from the country. This is still my country, Russia. I was born and raised. I'm Russian, and I am so freaking ashamed. I haven't heard of this law before that lets criminals out of prison and sends them to fight. That's pretty low. You must fall pretty low to do that. You must lose most of your humanity to do that, because you know what the backfire of your actions will be, and you must not care what happens tomorrow. You only care for today, for right now. I'm also glad that I live in Uzbekistan. Russia is a mad circus. You see, I'm trying to pick the words in English, and I don't even know what to say in Russian, honestly. It's pretty bad. Spanish, shame. Испанский стыд. That's what we say in Russia. Big time. And it's pretty much it. I wish I could change things. I wish I could do something. I wish more that I'm doing. I wish I could just press a button and it all disappears, but unfortunately I can't. Folks, look at Russia and use it as a prime example of how not to run your life, not to run your society, not to run, not of what not to let do your government. Use Russia as example. Do not ever let your government get out of control. Because if you do, you're going to wake up and you're going to see the same situation that we are seeing in Russia right now. And you're going to open your eyes and you're not going to believe what actually is happening around you. Don't make your own mistakes. Please learn from ours. Thank you so much. This has been my message for today. I don't know what else to add. Thank you. I would be glad to answer your questions in the live stream chat. Please carry on. I will turn on comments in just 1 second, and while I'm doing that, I'll ask you to do me a couple favors. First, would you please help me spread my message by making reposts in your social media accounts? That helps a lot. And second, would you please sign up for my Telegram channel called Inside Konstantin's Russia. I give announcements for this channel, so you can look at the announcements there. And meanwhile, if you liked what you heard, would you please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel so you won't miss any further updates. And I give these updates every single day at the same time. And also, if you'd like to buy me a coffee, I'd like that. I wouldn't mind. Thank you so much. The chat is on, and great to see everyone. I'm seeing Lorna and Mommy. Howdy, howdy, ladies. Also, Blackhead, Bob S., Prince Amir, and Harry are with us. And if they're not, then they are with us in our hearts and our minds. If you're here for the first time, let me tell you, this is the best community on internet that has the best moderation team, hands down. Not just on the internet, I think in the universe. The usual suspects, fantastic to see everyone. Thank you for coming, giving me another chance. Crazy message today. Crazy things are happening. By the way, the numbers of Russian economy are out for the month of May. And just like I said, economic tsunami. I'm going to be picking them apart within next 2 days and either making a stream or making a video. So stay tuned and come back for this economic message. If you want me to look and see your comment or question easier, much easier, and not to miss it, please put it in caps and put inside Russia after @ sign. So it appears highlighted in orange, and I see it well. Thank you, friends, for coming. Shaggy, Prigozhin just declared war on Russian mod, Ministry of Defense. Literally when you were starting this stream. Interesting. Let me double check. If that is true, then that's definitely gonna be... Well, I said what's gonna happen. Did you see my streams like 10 days ago? This is exactly what I was making my points about. All right, I see some commotion in Russian news. I see that Prigozhin just said that Ministry of Defense executed a strike from behind, a missile strike on his troops. Tons of soldiers killed. And Ministry of Defense just declared this statement by Prigozhin a fake. Huh, interesting. Interesting. Well, like I said, civil war is being cooked up in Russia, and this is... everything is going according to my streams. Michael, I sent you a message about my upcoming trip to Moldova, possibly side trip to... Hey, I saw that. I messaged you on WhatsApp. I wonder if you received my message. Let me know, please. But everything is on. You know, please come to Tashkent. And just like I said, let me know if you received my WhatsApp message. Add us. Prigozhin declared war on Russian mod. Well, this is it. This is beginning of the end. Like I said, there will be a clash between ЧВК Wagner and Ministry of Defense. Bob S. Howdy, howdy. What is happening in Russia? Komisanti. I don't know what to tell you. Lots of happening. Crazy stuff is happening. EW 1974. Howdy from Germany to all. Guten Abend. Leopsend. Civil war starting these days. Just like I said. Sam K, thank you so much for nice words. Thank you. Uri, have you heard of Russians shelling Wagner? Well, I just heard now. Why have any laws at all? Well, Pinda the Peanut, howdy, this is where it's going to. We will not have any laws, because why do you need laws if you have a private army? That's your law. When you have a private army, you become the law. Ministry of Defense announced that there are over 40 private armies in Russia. So there are 40 different sets of laws. Nice. Tomzak, Prigozhin declares war on Russian Ministry of Defense. What do you think about real, actual topic? Well, this is a real, actual topic. Most likely, the Ministry of Defense did execute a missile strike. Look, the messages that came out, I believe this. I believe that Russian armed forces did strike Prigozhin for one simple reason. You should have seen the interview he gave today. Holy moly, 30 minutes of bashing Shoigu, of explaining how it was about the real reasons why the war in Ukraine started. You know, he clearly said no Nazis. You must be crazy if you believe there are Nazis in Ukraine. It's only power grab, you know, for some people. He basically left Putin, kind of left it out of the picture, but he concentrated on bashing Shoigu. He calling him names, you know, calling him responsible, calling that he needs to be put on trial for the crimes he committed against Ukraine, against, you know, Russian people and so forth, against CVK Wagner. And this is the return. I mean, this is the response from Ministry of Defense, a missile strike, you know. I don't think Prigozhin stands a chance, really. He hasn't, it hasn't passed much time. He hasn't become a real big political force to be reckoned with. He started trying, he started going around Russia and talking to people, making public appearances, making public speeches and so forth, but not enough. He hasn't gained momentum. Now he's going to get crushed. At least there will be, you know, a war between him and Ministry of Defense. And guess what happens at the front lines? Partially, the Russian troops will be taken back to fight Prigozhin. And then on the other side, there are Ukrainians. These people are so freaking, I can't say dumb, but they're just... Thank goodness they're stupid. Karelian, I can't believe what you said. Well, my friend, I did fact checking. I mean, it's a real deal. If that's true, they're really crazy. Love your work and your streams. Hope you and your family are safe. Well, you're insulting me a little bit. No big deal, but trust me, it is true. Go into the Russian news and, you know, look it up. It's all over the news. Trust me, I did fact checking. It's true. Carson Larrymore, howdy. Heard that single Russian men that care for their children can avoid draft. Possibly, I don't know, but most likely yes. So they cooperate with wife to get divorce. Seems this loophole will also affect Russian society. Look, friend, you're an idealist, okay? Because you think that Russia is run by the rule of law. It's not. This is what they did in the city of Lesozavodsk. This fella named Alex, I helped him to escape Russia, and he came to Tashkent, and he was literally telling me what happened in his town, city, I don't know, 100,000 people. Uh, Tons of like a column of buses came in, cops, mobilization office people, officers, and police, cops, police, and riot police. And they basically started manhunting all men. They were just catching them by force, putting into the bus, getting into the mobilization office, and that's it. They're off to Ukraine. Whether they're caring for children, or they're, don't have arm, or they don't have a kidney, or they don't have one eye, it did not matter, okay? And I heard so many cases like that. So whether you care for children or not, who cares? The Russian armed forces, they certainly don't care about that. They yank you, they send you to Ukraine, and then they prove that you don't belong there from the front lines, okay? So I understand where you're coming from. Something like that would fly in Europe or in the United States or in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, but not in Russia. Reza Species, welcome to Deep Inside Russia. Thank you so much. That's a high tier. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, my friend. Welcome to Deep Inside Russia. White Lightning, thank you. Criminals prey on the old and disabled. It seems like Putin wants to pay for the war by eliminating the pensions of these people. I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised, my friend. Siggy Summers, keep on keeping on. Thank you so much. Thanks for the words of encouragement and support. Maya Mitrofanov, has Prigozhin declared war against the Russian army? It certainly does look like it. I was preparing for the stream for the past 2.5 hours. I didn't see the news, but thank you for letting me know. And I'm seeing right now that, yes, the commotion is going on. And right after I'm done with the stream, I'm going to check. I have direct access to Prigozhin's resources, his Telegram channels, and he's been using them quite a lot. Let's put it this way, quite actively. He's got a few channels: press, public, PR, private, public relations of Yevgeny Prigozhin. There's one Telegram channel. Another one is Kepka Prigozhina. Basically, these are Telegram channels. He just pumps materials from him personally, and I have access to that. Anyone, they're open to public. Anyone has access, but I just watch them. I happen to watch them. So, please keep on watching, because I'm going to make a community post right after, a few minutes. I'm going to investigate a little more, and I will come up with information update, in my opinion. White Lightning, thanks for another message. Prigozhin is controlled opposition. If you like Putin, join army. If you like Prigozhin, join Wagner. You know what struck me today? Prigozhin gave an interview, a monologue really, 30 minutes. And he was speaking pretty bluntly about why the war in Ukraine was declared. He said that Russian army is absolutely stupid because it made so many mistakes, and he picked the mistakes apart, and he was right. He was pretty fair interview, to be honest. I don't like Prigozhin. I don't like people who smash other people's heads with sledgehammers, but in this particular interview, it was like a pot of gold. He was saying like it is, and he was saying that how much the generals in Shoigu steal from the army, have stolen, why there is no tanks, they only exist on paper, and where money went, and their families and so forth. That's why Ministry of Defense did execute a strike, it's a return. So, but the thing is, he didn't say anything about Putin. He didn't say anything about Putin, like it's Putin's responsibility and stuff like that. He's been blaming first Shoigu and the generals, and the second, the oligarchs. And this is a perfect strategy. You see, Putin can come up and said, hey, I am ordering FSB to eliminate all the oligarchs, and I am, doing something to the generals and Shoigu, because look where they have gotten us to. And he blames them for all the problems, all the bad results, all the tragedies, and so forth. And I said, well, I didn't know. Most likely it's going to be a very hard call, because he did take personal responsibility when he was declaring the war in Ukraine, announcing special military operation. But you know what I mean. At least that he can try this maneuver. We'll see. We'll see. It's happening. Folks, it's happening. The civil war has started. 2 weeks ago, I gave you 7 reasons why the civil war is coming to Russia. It's still out there. Go and watch it. Right after I told you civil war has started. And right now, look at what's happening. My tomorrow stream is going to be just about that. I'm going to be pumping you with information on what is happening. Now we're waiting. Carson Larrymore. Oh, I already addressed that. Now we're waiting for one thing. Vladimir Putin. You see, what we're seeing right now is the seeds of chaos. This is exactly what my stream was called. The seeds of chaos, okay? They are growing. And there is a fine line. If Putin and whoever controls the situation lets them grow that far, that much, then the situation is going to be out of control. And that's it. That's it. All out. Now I'm waiting for Putin come out, and if he has some power left, okay, he would come out and say, hey, enough is enough. I'm making decision, like ЧВК Wagner, disarm, and Prigozhin, just something, or vice versa. I'm firing Shoigu, I'm firing the generals. So he's gonna come out with a statement, with an action, with a decision to make that he makes. If he doesn't do it tomorrow, then it means one thing: he's completely lost control. He's out of the picture politically. Like I said, I'm taking popcorn, I'm taking Twinings English breakfast, the best tea in the world, and I'm sitting back like this, and I am watching what's happening. And doing streams in between. Malti Daki, howdy. Good Nabend. Andrew from South Africa, hello. Hello, everyone. Did not receive. Will look for it, possibly delayed. Michael Yukon. I will resend it right after, but you should receive it. You should have received it right after, because it's like a telephone message, The Rich Gamer HD. Thank you so much, John. This is bad, really bad. Just Terry. I know. Like I said, I'm not scared anymore. I'm beyond that point of being scared for Russia and Russians. I kind of saw it coming. I didn't see the details, but I saw this mess, the magnitude of mess that Russia is going to. Again, if you hear anyone saying, oh, everything in Russia is normal, usual, take those words and shove it up his throat, okay? Do you know War Gonzo? Is he confirmed killed now? I heard of something. This is a war blogger, right? War analysis. Is he killed? I heard something about it. Hang on. Let me just quickly look it up. I think something happened to him. Hmm. No, he's alive. Looks like he's alive. 17 hours ago, he was live from Donbass. I don't know. I've never watched the guy. Sorry. Crusader Damien, howdy friend, and the best questions come from you. The jackals have come home. Unfortunately, the criminal Kremlin and the Russian people will now pay for their political apathy. My point exactly. Thank you, friend. That's not a question, statement, and it makes two of us. We will not step in, not this time. Russians will need to sort it out. There's no question about that. They're gonna learn it in a very hard way. I finished the stream in dismay. I didn't know what to say. I still don't know what to say. I mean, what can I say? I am ashamed. And I really have a hard time believe in what I'm seeing in my country. This is just so incredibly insane. It's like a bad dream. Living in a bad dream. There's on Netflix this series called Dark Mirror or something like that. That's like living in Dark Mirror world. Truffles, howdy, thank you for your support. I wouldn't have any idea what was really going on over there without this channel. Thank you, friend. This is exactly why I am here for, and this is exactly what I do. I do what I do. I look forward to it every day. Thanks for keeping us informed. Thank you so much. Thank you for support, and thanks for the nice words. Tom Cam, the beginning of the end has begun. Tomorrow, I will start with mentioning the streams that I recently made, where I exactly predicted, forecasted of what's going to happen. Be honest with you, folks, I didn't think it would happen that fast. Okay, with a matter of days. But it's happening. Julie W. has, thank you for sponsoring 5 people. Private stream for sponsors and patrons tomorrow. Welcome, friends. Please come and join us tomorrow at the usual time. Noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. LA, and 6 p.m., 5 or 6 p.m. London. Let me double check. Let me double check real quick. Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. It's not in the group. Anyway, I think it's 5 p.m. London. It's gonna be in my Telegram channel. Так, moving on. Tomsok, thank you so much for your statement. FSB appears to say Prigozhin is launching a coup. Interesting. Where did you hear that? If sources, if possible. Darn, he is launching a coup. He is... Holy smokes. He has just called all citizens of Russia join his cause. There are 25,000 of us, and we are going to sort things out. Why this incredible mess going on in the country? 25,000 are awaiting as a tactical reserve, strategical reserve. This is the entire army and the entire country. Everyone who wants to join us. Let's get it over with. Everyone who is going to put to oppose us, we will consider that this is a threat, and everyone will be killed immediately, including all roadblocks on our way. I am asking everyone to keep silence, to keep calm, do not get provoked, and stay in their houses. He has just launched a coup. Yeah. Wow. Tomzak, thank you. In response to the statements, FSB of Russian Federation has launched a criminal case over calls for an armed uprising. We demand stop this unlawful actions at once. Now, what's going to happen now? Let's just think for a change. Anonymous, you're a wonderful human, guys. Thank you so much. You know what? You folks keep me going. You give me motivation and energy to keep on going. Without you, without this super streams, super discussions, super conversations, I wouldn't be able to carry on. It's really difficult. So thank you. Okay, so let's talk about what might happen. Let's talk about what might happen. Let's talk about what might happen. There are two ways. People, well, the key point here, and I've been saying it all along, key element for any dictatorship is the army. You know how the USSR fell? There was a coup. August 19th, a coup announced. Gorbachev was locked up under house arrest, and there's a bunch of 10 people. They formed the committee to save the country, and they call for troops to enter Moscow. And this General Lebed, he gets into Moscow, and he leads a battalion of heavy armor. So the tanks enter Moscow, and the next day he's given an order to shoot at the crowd that has gathered. And his decisions basically buried the USSR because he said, I'm not going to shoot at people, plain and simple. And he gave the order to his troops to withdraw, and they withdrew. And as soon as other generals all over Russia saw that General Lebed was withdrawing, they also said that they're supporting people and they're withdrawing and they're not going to shoot people. And that was over, just like that, in minutes. That was the real fall of the USSR. Everything else is like a wave. The wave was formed and it started going. So we are looking at, right now, at this pivotal moment, whether the Russian generals, and I'm not talking about Shoigu, I'm talking about other generals, and perhaps there are generals who are so fed up with Shoigu and his buddies, they're so fed up with crimes that the high command has been committing. They're so ready to act independently. I don't know, but I'm just, kind of throwing things up in the air that they might join Prigozhin. They will say, let's go to Moscow, let's sort things out. And then what? Army against army. And then the thing is, if someone joins Prigozhin right now, that's going to be a precedent, an example, and others will. That's a possibility. Another possibility, no one will join and Prigozhin will be crushed, perhaps even crushed by tomorrow morning. We'll see. Holy smoly smokes. So Prigozhin has declared the March of Fairness. Dmitry Peskov. Oh, so this is very serious because Dmitry Peskov, Russian president press secretary, has announced that Vladimir Putin is aware of the situation and is taking steps. Hey, what do you mean? He's gonna harm his own cook? What? Dan, thank you so much. That stinky stuff is hitting the fan right now. Folks, I admit mistakes when I make them, and I just made a mistake in the stream, if you noticed. I said that Prigozhin, in his crazy videos today, he was bashing the generals, and he was bashing the oligarchs, blaming them for this situation. He didn't blame Putin, so I thought that he was acting on Putin's behalf from permission of Putin, and then was a possible move made by Putin through Prigozhin. You know, the generals are bad, the oligarchs are bad, the Tsar is good. Okay, let's get rid of the generals, let's get rid of the oligarchs. Well, apparently I was wrong because Prigozhin is going to Kremlin, Putin is aware, he has given orders to KGB, FSB. FSB has just opened a criminal investigation on Prigozhin, and this is it, there's no way back. There's no way back. And you know what? This is the present. Even Prigozhin gets crushed, even if he gets crushed, then he set the precedent. The precedent. Ugh. He set the precedent. Wow. All right. Sorry, it's the history is in the making, right in front of our eyes. Holy moly. Friends, you know what? I'm gonna wrap it up right now. I'm gonna assess the situation because this is big and this is major. If the actions are unfolding, then I'm gonna stream for about an hour later, because this definitely worth looking at. Josh Judge, Ukrainian troops in Bakhmut report that some Russian army units have joined the fighting of Wagner's side. Is this the next Black Swan moment? If that is true, I'm not sure, I haven't heard of it, but if that is true, this is the pivotal moment in Russian history, of modern history. This is, Putin is, right now, is this close to his end. This close. You know what? I'm not sure who's better. I don't think Prigozhin is going to be better than Putin. He's... why Prigozhin? Son of a gun. Whew. So if Russian troops are joining, this is what I just said. If someone joins, all generals in the army are watching. If one major general joins Prigozhin, the others will follow, and then that's it. The war with Ukraine might be over like in a couple days because all the troops will withdraw. Russian economy, well, anyway, that's another stream. Будет день, будет пища. Yeah, 01, friend 01, I'm sorry, I can't say that. Yeah. My Russian tongue doesn't twist that way, you know. Maybe you have considered this and I missed it, but I've been having a feeling that maybe Putin isn't actually the one in control anymore. I've been saying that, folks. I've been saying for so long. Look, he's ejected himself from political life for the past since before the drones hit my home. Okay, he didn't no leadership. He didn't stand out. He didn't say anything. He was like, everything's normal. Everything's going to the plan. And everyone's like, are you fucking crazy? Is this your plan? And this is what it leads to. If this is the power game, if you show that you're weak, if you show that you're not in control anymore, then there are plenty of other people who are willing to grab you by the throat and just take the power away from you, okay? So I'm pretty sure that Putin is going to be flying far away from Moscow now, deep inside of the mountain, if he has a bunker in the mountain somewhere, and getting into his foxhole as deep as possible and sitting there in front of the TV and watch, okay? Now the army decides his fate and the FSB decides. God forbid FSB decides to join Wagner or simply decides not to get involved in the situation. Kind of like steps aside. But okay, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. I need about 40 minutes to assess the situation because this is major, this is big. I'll come back. Thank you so much. I'll pass on praying. It's just... Let's double pray tomorrow. This is happening. Thanks, everyone. Let me just Reese's Pieces. Things will be ugly for a while, but this is a turning tide. Prigozhin called the war unjustified. Let's have hope. Some truth has been spoken. It's breaking the ice for opposition. Cyan, tick-tock, tick-tock. This first thing I just sounded. Thank you, Mr. K, for all you do. Thank you. Let's hope that things will change soon. Okay. My friends, I gotta go. I'll be back in about an hour. And please come back. I'll be giving you the news because this is happening right now. Thank you so much for joining. I'm cutting the stream. Well, not praying. Let's pray at the end of the second stream. Thank you so very much, all. I will see some of you soon. Hang on one second. Paige Greer, thank you so much for your support. Much needed, very appreciated. No message, but this is message powerful enough. I was gonna say let's do it. Well, what can I do? But this is pretty. At least what I can do is I can inform the world. So please, let's come back in a little bit later. Thank you, folks. Thank you for joining. You're awesome. You rock. I'm not saying goodbye. I'll come back. Carthago delenda est.